So how do you reduce cellulite? Okay, before we get to that, it's probably really important to find out, or rather to let you know exactly what cellulite is and why do these, things kind of appear in your bodies. Alright, I think a majority of the ladies are probably going to be asking this. The higher probability is the ladies are going to be asking this rather than the guys, and there is a good reason for that. Okay, cellulite is actually, the appearance of cellulite is actually more prevalent and more obvious in ladies. Sure, guys have it as well, but it's just, like I mentioned, not as obvious. And the reason for that is also the reason why we need to start off with what exactly cellulite is. So cellulite, if you've, if you're a lady, you have it, you probably see it in the mirror. If not, you've probably seen pictures of it or see other ladies with it. Cellulite, in actual fact, alright, is actually fat in between your muscle fibers, right? And because of that, right, and the more fat you have, right, it's gonna seem lumpy, alright, when you kind of see it in the regions that you see it. And most commonly, you're probably going to be seeing cellulite in regions or areas like your legs, right, your butt area. And the reason why it looks lumpy, like I just mentioned, is because the fat is actually in between muscle fibers, and that's why it causes that appearance of what we see as cellulite. Okay, and the reason why ladies seem to have it more obviously than guys is because for guys, the amount of fat that's in between muscle fibers are just not as much, right? And because of that, the appearance of this lumpiness or this cellulite is just not going to be as obvious. It is still there, but just because it's not as much, you don't really see it as much in guys. So how exactly do you kind of reduce or remove cellulite? So once again, I want to mention that cellulite is the fat in between the muscle fibers, right? What that means is we just have to make sure that we are either losing the fat, okay, or growing the muscles sufficiently so that you kind of like squeeze the fat together and create the illusion, or rather remove the illusion of this fat in between your muscle fibers, which is leading to the appearance of cellulite. Okay, so these are the two main things. You do want to make sure that you're losing a sufficient amount of fat, and the second thing is to actually grow the muscle fibers around that particular region so that it becomes firmer, and that's why you see ladies actually get rid of cellulite. Okay, a important fact is that they don't actually get rid of cellulite. It's there, it's just that visually you don't actually see it. You don't actually see the lumpiness that is going on. Okay, so it's really important to know, and I think in terms of expectations, you do want to make sure you know that as well. Okay, that cellulite don't actually just disappear. It's just the appearance that kind of disappear. Alright, so let's talk about the first thing, which is fat loss. Alright, we all know, or you should know, that there's no such thing as spot reducing, meaning that you can't just target one part and lose the fat there. So the best case is really just work on a caloric deficit, alright, sufficiently. And okay, this ties into the second part, which I'm not going into yet. Okay, but the first thing is just making sure you're in a caloric deficit so that your body is in a state to want to lose something. Obviously, caloric deficit usually leads to losing weight, right? If you want to lose more fat, that leads to the second point, which I'm going to touch on later. But you do want to make sure that you are trying to be in a caloric deficit so that your possibility of losing fat is there or higher. Okay, so once you're able to do that, once you're able to get that down, you'll be able to lose fat. Alright, and as you go, the second thing which is important here is we are also trying to grow the muscle fibers, right, so that it kind of like squeezes out, layman term, the fat in between the muscle fibers. It's still kind of there, but it's kind of like the appearance is reduced and you don't really see it as much, and the resulting appearance is more of a firming, toning effect that you are probably going for. So why did I keep mentioning that it's tying into this second point? It's because of this. Alright, so for your muscle fibers, in order for it to grow, right, while in a caloric deficit, you do want to make sure that the caloric deficit is probably not a crazy amount of deficit, right? It's a small enough deficit for you to trigger, to stimulate fat loss, but at the same time, it's not so low whereby your body doesn't want to grow your muscles. Alright, so of course with muscular growth, you do want to make sure you're doing workouts that stimulate and challenge you progressively so that you can always keep building on the muscles, and at the same time do have sufficient amount of protein. As a rough guideline, I would definitely suggest working your way up to about 0.8 grams of protein per pound of muscle mass. Okay, so you could go ahead and measure it using some body fat electronic device or what have you, or you could just visually look at yourself, roughly estimate how much muscles you have, and just take a rough starting point like that. Okay, all these are things that I kind of help my members in my coaching program. Right, so if you do need any help, just reach out to me and let me know. Okay, I would love to have you on and help you with that. But these are the two main things that you really have to focus on. And once you get these two dealt in, you will slowly be able to see the changes in the region where the cellulite is there. Okay, persist on. All right, I really want you to know this. A lot of people lose the patience. They may see a bit of results and then they stop. But if you really want to lose it, right, I'm not saying that it's a good look or whatever. That's really up to you to decide. I'm here to just show you what you already want to achieve. Okay, really persist on. As you keep going and going and going, you will be able to lose the fat, be able to gain the muscles, and the appearance of the cellulite will seem to disappear as well. Okay, once again, for the ladies, you may see this more apparently. That's just how your body is built. Okay, that's not really something that you can control on. So I would really urge you not to feel bad or anything about that. Really just embrace the fact that this is you, and that's awesome. All right, you are able to do so many other things as well. Okay, put aside what you can't control and just focus on what you can. Keep taking the steps. Okay, so that's basically how do you reduce your cellulite. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. Let me know below. Okay, are you having trouble with cellulite, and is this actually one of the areas that you're working on? Alright, till the next one. If you like this video, if this was helpful for you, please click the like button, subscribe, and remember to click that notification bell so that when the next video comes out, you will get notified and you'll get the latest updates. Alright, as always, stay safe and appreciate you, all of you. Keep going forward, stay happy. You've got this.